Bash in Berlin. Here we go. Bash in Berlin. You know the reason I botched? Because I looked at Emergence. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the video before this one. The show wasn't bad. The last match I really loved. But production from TNA was so bad that it pissed me off beyond no end. It was disgusting how bad it was. At one point, one of the cameramen just disappeared for no reason. Either the camera broke, or they just pulled him off for some reason, or he had to go to the toilet. I don't know which one it is. You can say whatever it is, but that was stupid how bad that show was. And it was not the wrestler's fault. Here, in Berlin. Was this a good show? Yes. Did it have matches I didn't care about? Yes. But did I like the show in general? Yes. The fans were loud. They cared better than what happened in Louisville, Kentucky when Emergence happened, where they were alright until the last match, when they were acting like they wanted to damn hijack the entire show because they weren't fully interested in a 1 hour Iron Man match, which actually eventually they did come around to. Here we didn't get that. We got every fan being loud as possible, which made the WWE, TKO WWE so happy because they know they did what they wanted. It's been almost 30 years, or was it 30 years, since the last time WWE had any show in Berlin. Either it was a televised show or it was a pay-per-view. So, was this show good? Yeah. Opening. The undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship, KO versus Cody. 8 years, 2016 I believe, it was SmackDown, was the last time Kevin Owens had became champion. It was when they actually divided the brands and SmackDown was actually better than Raw, which pissed off Vince. Vince got pissed off. He could not stand that SmackDown was better, way better than Raw, and that was his baby. He couldn't stand it that whoever was on that creative team at the time was making it work. He couldn't take it. So, Kevin Owens is during that time where he was doing pretty well. So, we had this story where KO is going to be a question. Will he go back to the old KO? Will he end up going back to the old KO? Will we see the evil Kevin Owens, the prize fighter Kevin Owens that pretty much Wade Barrett wanted to iterate over and over again? He needs to be the killer. And for most of the match, it was alright. It wasn't an incredibly great match, but it was good, particularly with the fans just cheering it on the way they did. I did like that. At one point, the way they were describing it when Cody came into the ring and during the match, that Cody might have tweaked his left knee or ankle. And at one point, they were trying to make that the story. Now, I knew eventually it was going to be used, and it was used at one point, and Cody did have an issue with his left knee. And KO, as instinctive as he was about to try and nail him, but he stopped. He did not want to go down that route. And understand this, since KO worked with the Bloodline, he's been a face. He's generally been a face because of the Bloodline storyline, even working with a Sami Zayn at one point. So he has not turned. He has not turned back to being a heel for quite a while. It's been almost about a year and a half. So it's been alright. And this went along with the story that he's been telling. He's not the same KO. He does want to go down that route. And at one point, he did do a little bit of a chop block. Well, not a chop block, my mistake. He did kick Cody's left leg. He did kick it. But he could not do the pop-up powerbomb onto the ring skirt like he normally does, just to annihilate his opponent. He couldn't do it. So this is what the story was. KO saying, dude, what are you doing? Just kill him already. That was Wade Barrett. And to KO's credit, he actually went up to the commentary table and he said, I'm not like that anymore to Wade Barrett. He's yelling at him and saying, what? He's talking to me? Yes, he was talking to you, Wade. He's saying, I'm not the old pride fight. Look, the reason I botch here is this is a basic story. A basic story that had some good build, but let's make it clear. When it comes to Cody, he doesn't really have that many opponents right now. He just doesn't. We're not going to see Cody versus Roman Reigns for quite a while because Roman has to deal with the bloodline. And even though we heard, and I didn't see SmackDown because I did Emergence, but from what they said during the match, that Solo said, "I'm next. I got dibs." I don't feel it because he's already had his shot. He didn't get anywhere. The only person that makes sense to try and get the next shot either would be Roman or, surprising, I'm saying this, because he's been here so short of a time, Jacob Fatu, the enforcer. He's one of the only few people I think that's in the new Solo bloodline that is the most strongest person there that can go up against Cody and make it look really good. Not saying Solo is bad. It's just that we've seen Solo already multiple times. He can't even take on Roman. But when it comes to his enforcer, he can take on Roman. And he'll look like he'll be able to take on Cody. That's what I think they're going to go to eventually. That's just me moving on. Alright, next match is the strap match. Now I gotta be honest here. Let me give it to you like this. I didn't know how this was going to go. Even though it seemed the obvious thing that CM Punk should win. Because it's time for him to win. He hasn't won anything since he came back. He has won nothing. So, knowing that he's going up against Drew, who has been very good this late in his run right now, I just had a feeling that, well, I didn't know what the feeling was. I just felt that he should win, CM Punk, but would they let him win? Beginning of that match was not even the beginning. The minute he comes down to the ring, CM Punk, he gets attacked by Drew. He gets whooped, he gets beaten up, and the ref didn't want to start it. Didn't want to start until he gave CM Punk time to recover, but Drew was saying, "Put the damn strap on his hand. I don't care." And honestly, eventually the ref had to give in, and that's how the match started. And for most of it, Drew was leading. But then Punk became Punk because he just wanted to hurt him. He wanted his pound of flesh. He wanted his pound of flesh. That's the type of thing. He just wanted to rip that flesh off and do whatever the hell he wanted to do with it. That's what he wanted in the beginning. But as time went on, when he realized he was having a harder and harder time trying to deal with Drew, eventually he said, "You know what? I got to end this." Eventually he did how many GTSs? He had to do 4 GTSs by the end of that match just to get Drew down long enough that he can get him, and finally got his bracelet back, which was in Drew's trunks. And that's like, ew. That's the thing. If Punk had kissed that damn thing after it's been in Drew's crotch, I would say, that's taking kayfabe to a certain level I'm not too fond of. But it was done the way it was done. Drew, being wiped out after 4 GTSs, is now beaten by Punk, who hadn't won anything in 10 ass years. 10 years was the last time he won any matches in this company. And now he finally won his first match in a strap match, which he had been known to do even in WWE at the time. So what does this mean? Is it over? No. I just don't see them ending it right now. I just don't see TKO ending a match and a feud, more than a match, a feud between these two. The only thing that could end it is I quit. It's not going to be the last man standing's match. It's going to be an I quit match. One of them is going to have to say I quit. That's what I think is next. Because I just don't see them ending it now. Now, is that going to be a good match? Yeah, it could be a good match. And it might happen at, what is the next one? I don't know what the next pay-per-view is. I don't think it's Crown Jewel. It's something else. I think it's Bad Blood, I believe, the next one. Then after that is Crown Jewel. So I don't know yet. But I'm telling you this, strap match, really good. Was not bad. But honestly, what they're going to probably end it on will be an I quit match, where someone's going to have to openly say, I quit. And that's before we know anything about what's going to go with Seth. because we still don't know when Seth is coming back and if Seth is going to be interjected into the feud, because Seth is mad at Drew and he's mad at Punk, and counting on when he finally comes back is going to make even a more interesting dynamic, because you never know. This entire thing could end at Survivor Series, not just for Drew and Punk. It also can include Seth. But that's just me. Women's Tag Team Championship. The champion of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. And I'm thinking about this because there are 4 good-looking women in that ring. And I'm thinking, which one do I like the most? Because there's nothing wrong with Jade Cargill. She's a gorgeous-looking woman. And Bianca. But if I had to choose one, I think I'd pick Isla Dawn. I know she doesn't have the biggest booty, but there's something about her personality that I really like. And she is beautiful. So I might pick her first. Not saying that the other women ain't good either, because they are. And if anybody says, Alba Fire's not that pretty. Yeah, she is pretty. She ain't bad looking. It's just that she uses a lot of makeup and you don't see the natural look of a woman. Remember this, as a man who has gone through 3 women, sadly couldn't keep with any of them. It just didn't work. I'm not a bad guy. I'm just not what everybody's cup of tea is. But every woman shows their real self when they're without makeup. You get to see who they really are. Natural beauty always legitimately trumps makeup beauty. Even though it'll make them look so damn sexy, does not mean that that's better. But what did we really get in this match? I'm telling you this. Do I care about the Women's Tag Championships? No. Sadly, I should, but I do not. We don't see enough women on the roster to make it feel important. We don't. Look, shouldn't they have already gone into NXT to be dealing with the people over there? They haven't. Yes, we could see something that could happen with Nia Jax and a Tiffany Stratton, where one person did say, you know who you are. I wouldn't be surprised if they put the tag titles on them. And I said, no, it makes no sense. And it still doesn't make sense. I know that Tiffany's got the briefcase, and it makes sense to have her to the hip of Nia Jax. But do I want to see them as a tag team champions? No. Nia is doing much better as a singles competitor. Tiffany Stratton does not need to be in a tag championship position. She doesn't. Neither one of them needs to be. But at this point, with so few women doing the work in tag division, and they're doing double work in singles, eventually it's going to happen. We may see Nia Jax and Tiffany become champions, not because they look great being champions, it's because they need new blood. They got so many women in the back, but they're not teaming them up to be tag team specialists. They're making them do double duty, which is stupid. Split the division in half. You got enough women to do it. Tag and women that will be on the main roster. They should be using them and they're not. And that's why this doesn't really matter. Now, do I believe that... How can I say this? You look at Jade. She looked like she still needed work in the ring. And she still does to a certain extent. But I will tell you this. Her tag team work has improved. She has improved in her tag team work. I'm not saying it's an immense improvement, but you could see that when it came doing combos between her and Bianca, it used to be very choppy. In this situation, it was better. Now, when she's in the ring by herself with either one or the other of the tag champions, she didn't do that badly, but it's taken a while for her to actually seem to do better the way the WWE style of pro wrestling is compared to what AEW allowed her to get away with. Let's be honest. She did 57 wins as TBS champion. She never was heavily challenged. And she never really improved her style a lot. She worked on it, but it was never an improvement. It was more maintenance than anything else. Here, you can see in a tag team division, there is improvement. So I will give her that. And, surprisingly, they actually made them drop the titles back to them. Now, what does this mean for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They'll probably have them go after them again. But now that we have Pure Fusion... Wait a minute. What did they call themselves? Pure Fusion something. I can't remember the name of it. But when it comes to, well, Sonya Deville, Zoe Starks, Shayna Baszler, what is it called? Pure Fusion Collective, I think? I have no idea if they're going to be next, which they probably should be, because they've been doing something on Raw. And do you want to see Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton? I'm sure you're going to say it. Somebody might say it. But that might be what's left to do. If Zoe Starks and well, will it be Shayna Baszler or will it be a Sonya Deville that may do it this time? Because they may switch them. Because I have a feeling they're going to do the Freebird rule with them. That's what they're going to do with the Pure Fusion. They're going to do the Freebird rule and they're going to switch the women's out. So to keep them as fresh as possible. But which one will be first that will go up against the new champions? Will it be Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton, or the Pure Fusion, I believe, Collective? I can't remember the name right now, but you guys tell me below. All right, mixed tag. This was the match I was wondering was going to be good or not. You got Liv and Dami Dom versus a Ripley who is so over. Oh my gosh. Look, let me give it to you. People cheered for Damian Priest. They did. They cheered for them. They booed the Judgment Day, who eventually came out later. But who was over the most was Mommy. She was so over. Oh my gosh. Rhea was so over. It was beyond stink sweet for TKO WWE, because they know since she's so over, and they kept using the decibel meter a lot if it was the full decibel meter, because I think it might have been a little bit higher than 92 decibels. But I'm telling you right now, she is over. And that really helped the show. This really helped this match. And was it a good match? It was fine. It was alright for what it was. It wasn't a bad match. Rhea Ripley didn't do bad. Neither did Dom or a Damian. But you know who did much better than I expected? Who actually sold very well and did some very good moves? Liv Morgan. Liv has improved her style in the ring more than expected. And a lot of people thought that she was just a bite off of Alexa Bliss at one point. But honestly, she's coming to her own. She is very well done. And it's kind of surprising to see how her progression has been from where she was before until she is now. She has improved not only by how people respond to her, but also by her ring work, which I think is more important than her response. She's always given a decent response to a good response. Now her ring work is beginning to reflect her response by the fans, whether they boo her or cheer her. So for me personally, she's gotten better. And I'm glad to see that. And in the end, the Terror Twins did win. I'm not too surprised. Does this mean the story is over? Hell no. It's not over. I do believe they want to break up Judgment Day completely eventually. That's what I believe Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley is going to be. The permanent breakup of Judgment Day. Because it's coming. I think it will happen. I know Rhea's going to get another shot at the title. Damian now will probably have another shot at the world title. Or, yeah, the world title. It's only a matter of time. And finally, the final match of the night. Gunther's moment. He's not far from home. Being in Berlin, he only had to go to the border and he can go straight into Austria. Probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour drive. He could actually go home within 2 or 3 hours, drive to Austria, drive home to his relatives there, and could enjoy himself. Because right now it should be 10 or 11 o'clock at night over there. He'll pack up, if his wife's not there already, go home, spend time with his family, and then within about a day or two, head back to the United States. And you know what? He's earned it. But here's the thing. Taking away from Gunther winning, it was a question, would they actually let a Randy Orton become a 15-time champ? I'm going to be honest here. And I've said this, I believe I said this. I just repeat my said this. I wanted to see Randy win. Honestly, I knew Gunther will win, but I did want to see Randy win because this could have been something special for the older fans and to Randy himself. Look, You can say a lot about Randy Orton. He even said it himself. He was a fucking dick when he was younger. He was nothing but a stupid asshole that didn't treat people right and didn't care as much as he did when he should have when he came into the business. Look, we know that Randy Orton was in the Marines at one point, and he had to beg his dad to figure a way to get him out of the Marines. And he was, I don't remember if he was dishonorably discharged. I don't remember. I think he might have been. But he managed to get out of the business of the Marine Corps to become a pro wrestler. And even though he did somewhat take it seriously, he didn't fully take it seriously. He even said it himself in a Broken Skull session. I even got that recording myself. He said, I didn't get it. I wasn't there. I wasn't feeling it. I just didn't understand how important and special this was. Eventually I did understand, and particularly doing promos, I learned and got better because I wanted to be better, not just because I just did it because I was doing it. So I give a lot to Randy. He's grown a lot over the last decade. And I can tell you this, I wanted to see him win. As being the second in line, other than Cena and pretty much Ric Flair, both tied at 16. Him being the second one to have a championship, because he's tied with Triple H 14. See him win 15th? I wouldn't mind seeing it. It would be a special moment. That honestly, if his dad was there, I would love to see him there. Honestly, that didn't happen. But I wished for it. I won't lie about that. I wish that the brass in the back had made the decision, but they weren't going to do it. Gunther is for the future. He's going to stay there a good 5 to 8, maybe even 10 years. Randy with his back, even though they said he did experimental back surgery. That's a big thing, because we don't know how long Randy's going to keep wrestling. He may wrestle another 3 years, 2 years. He may stop wrestling next year because his back's bothering him, or he feels like it's time for me to leave. Never know. You never know when it comes to someone who's been injured and who's been working 20 plus years in the damn business. It's been a long time since he started. I don't know, what is it, he started in 2002? 20 years. 22 years, sorry. I think he's been in the business 22 years. And you never know how long it's going to last. Either his body will say, I'm done, or he'll say, I'm done. But as the match progressed, it was good. Seeing Gunther get his right arm messed up with a bad bruise was part of the story. Orton's own back was part of the story. There really wasn't any real cheating at all, other than maybe a poke in the eye by Randy Orton, which the ref did kind of wave off, and the fans didn't chew him out for it. They said, oh, old Randy, and they were cheering for him. And that was good. That not only they were cheering for him during the match, even when he did do a little bit of heel, but also they were singing most of his song, which was fine. This was a good closing of the show. Now, let me give it to you like this. Seeing the handshake afterward, which, I wanted to say this, that I did forget in Emergence, when it came to JBL coming out and talking to a Nick Nimitz, I completely forgot because I was so damn pissed off. Just in case anybody says, dude, did you forget about Nick Nimitz and JBL? JBL coming out to the ring talking to him? Yes, I did, because I got so angry about how bad production was from TNA. But I am remembering it now, and I'm telling you, it was a very special moment. Because I don't think John Bradshaw, I don't think he ever went to TNA. I don't think JBL ever went. So seeing that was special. And seeing the handshake, which reminded me, was a special thing. Orton was willing to acknowledge him, give him the rub, and now Gunther's going to go beyond this. But I don't know what's going to happen with Orton now. May go after Cody. I don't know who's going to go after Gunther. It would be Damian Priest. I think that would be the wisest person, but what are we really getting from Gunther? Is he a heel at this moment, or is he a face? I mean, Luther Kaiser is a heel, but what are we getting from Gunther? Is he a face or not? I don't know. We'll find out this Raw, but this is just me. I hope you enjoy this. Please leave a comment below, and if nothing goes wrong, I will be seeing No Mercy tomorrow. Peace.